Here's my advice for being more organized as a coach, or if you're a wrestler who's planning out their own practice schedule. You know, you have an off-season program. Sure, you might have some camps you're going to. Your high school coach or your youth coach has some things in mind. Or maybe you're a youth or middle school wrestling parent and there's not much opportunity in the off-season for your kids. You know, it's important that all of us, especially you high school coaches, are kind of ringing out. You're using every second wisely. I don't believe things work out. I don't believe that, you know, the wrinkles work themselves out all the time. I think you have to micromanage. You have to nitpick. You have to evaluate. I believe that what gets measured gets accomplished. You have to measure everything from a coaching standpoint, and you know, it's kind of like pedal to the metal, right? So as far as a practice plan, think about this. If you read that book, The Tipping Point, I believe that was the book by the guy Malcolm something. He noted that the reason the Brazilians are the best in the world at soccer is because they grew up playing a game called futsal. F-U-T-S-O-L, futsal. They don't have a lot of the facilities, so it's a game with a little heavy ball, so it always stays close to the athlete's foot. I believe it's 3-on-3. It's an indoor game, and he says these, in a super fast pace, these soccer players' foot is on a ball 10,000 times more than we are in America, where you'll line kids up and say, okay, number one guy, dribble around the cones and back, and you have 37 guys sitting there, kids playing, and they all wait their turn. It's like PE class. Now get in line. We're all going to take the turn throwing the football one time. You get to throw the ball 5 times in an hour and a half. That's not... You need to take that approach to wrestling. And I've been doing that for 25 years because, I mean, I just had some efficient coaches growing up, and especially when I got into college wrestling. It was so unbelievably organized. Bruce Burnett was so organized. He was a high school coach that worked his way up to college wrestling. He won 3 NCAA titles in the 5 years he was there. And then he took over USA Wrestling for 10 years. Completely organized, and like I said, your feet were moving non-stop. All right? I have a vision in my head. I want my wrestlers to go through 3 pairs of wrestling shoes a season. I want the sole of their shoes to be worn down flat after 5 weeks of season. Their feet have to move non-stop. So what this means is this: you only run when you have to. You should not be spending 45 minutes every practice running the hallways. You shouldn't spend 20 minutes running. Secondly, when I say only when you have to, the last month or so of season, sure, you should do sprints twice a week. You should run bleachers. If you're training on your own, Sunday. If you have a dual meet Tuesday, you run bleachers Saturday. If you don't have a dual meet until Thursday, you run bleachers on Sunday. You want to give yourself 3 days recovery from running bleachers, but you want to condition those legs. Running hills, running bleachers, and running flat sprints is it's an anaerobic exercise that's actually good for wrestling. I wouldn't spend much time running distance. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't run distance one time. Some people even say that running distance might even be bad for wrestling because it's training the aerobic muscular system, and the wrestling is an anaerobic sport. I would probably tend to agree. So, enough with the running. It's eating up your time. It's like the futsal team. If they only have an hour and 20 minutes of practice and they're taking roll and stretching and talking for 20 minutes at the beginning of practice, and then they're running the hallways for 30 minutes, that's 50 minutes out of their 75 minutes. They only have 25 minutes to play. You basically just took 66% of your practice time. In 10 years, you've wasted 6.5 years. You start tabulating this out to how many practices you have a week, how many a month, how many years. You can waste a lot of time. At our wrestling camp, I say within 30 seconds we will be starting practice. We'll take roll while you're drilling. I'll have my assistant take roll, right? If you want to stretch, get to practice early, right? Stretching should mostly be done after practice when the muscles are warm anyway. Now, we always warm up, but we're warming up with wrestling drills, head blocking, down blocking, level change drills, footwork drills, stance in motion fake, push, pull, hit, pick, post, pass, and fake. If you're familiar with our online wrestling academy, you know that there's 7 setups to the sport of wrestling. And then if you combine 2 or 3 of those setups, we call that dynamic wrestling, dynamic drilling, super advanced. We only cover that at our 14-day dream season camp and our 28-day challenge camp, which, by the way, is our registrations are up 71% in that camp. We sold out last year. So just a heads up, it's 2020. If you want to come to our summer camp, you should probably get on it. But we warm up with our push, pull, hit, pick, post, pass, and fake, all right? Our setup series. So now the kids are engaged. Or sometimes we'll warm up with a technique. Let's say that, it's day 4 of camp. Their legs are a little bit tired. If it's, especially our athletes who are doing the 10, 14, 19, or 28-day option, even the 5-day camp kids, sometimes, they need a little bit of a rest. So sometimes our warm-up might be a technique thing. Okay, front headlock defense, we drilled this, it looked good, but we could use some more reps. How about wrestling off of a hip smash? We have 2 great defensive counters from here, and these 2, it's important that you guys get more reps here. So we might spend 15 minutes right off the get-go. Within 30 seconds, number 1 man's down, number 2's on top, right? And you start working them through it. Step 1, step left, hip smash. Step 2, lay on your right elbow, slide down. Talk them through, 1 or 2 talk-throughs, and guess what? They have a 3-minute go. Now, while they're reviewing, you can watch and make sure everyone's looking good. And once they're looking good, you have 2 minutes. You take a roll real quick. Then you put number 2 guy through it. So sometimes our warm-up is a review of a technique or a skill that they need some review time on, and it's a great way to utilize that time. So you waste time 2 different ways. Warming up in the morning, you waste a lot, or warming up before practice. Taking a roll is a waste of time if you do it wrong. Warming up and stretching is a waste of time if you do it wrong. And running, which you call conditioning, is a waste of time. So I would look for that, because you are probably wasting at least 30% of their practice time. And if you do that over a 10-year period, it's almost over 3 years of their career that you have wasted, and you just don't know better, because you're just doing what you've always done. So there's my tip. Now, what about if you're an athlete training on your own and you're developing a practice plan? Hey, look at these time wasting areas. Clean those up, right? Clean those things up. Clean them up if you're in the weight room, you're in the wrestling practice. You want to make sure that you're efficient, so that it's like wringing out the last little drop of water out of a rag. You want to wring it all out. Check us out, purlerwrestling.com.